Hey, how's it going? Not a bad spot, eh? I want to chat to you today about stress response and how us humans interpret that and the reactions we have in the body. Learn more about what it is so we can identify it when it pops up and turn it on when we need to. Now, the nervous system has two modes, and I like to think of it, being a mechanic, I like to think of it and relate some of the systems in the body to cars and vehicles, and the systems inputs and outputs are sort of can be quite similar and easy to relate, because obviously the human body is a lot more complex and intricate than the vehicle, but you can break it down, especially for us blokes. You can break it down and relate it a little bit, especially the inputs and outputs, like I said. So picture walking through the jungle and your ears prick to a noise and you snap your eyes across to match the sound of a fucking tiger stalking you, preparing to pounce. And your body has a huge stress response, and some professors name this fight or flight. Now, it reacts quicker than you can think about it. It's just automatic. And the reactions that happen in the body, the heart rate rises to up the blood pressure and blood flow through the body. Respiration rate rises to pump more oxygen into the blood to get oxygen to the brain, and then tunnel vision kicks in and it focuses just on two decisions, and that's fight or flight, pretty much, and narrows it in on that, and then fucking works hard quickly to get you out of there or get you into the fucking action, whatever it needs to do. Now the body, while doing this, it prioritizes its systems. So it needs full effort. Accelerator pedal is down. You know, you get your two modes: your accelerator pedal and your brake pedal, pretty much for your stress responses in humans. And the accelerator pedal is fucking flat down. So you pretty much have a massive stress response. Your heart rate rises, respiration rate rises. Your body then prioritizes its system, so it needs to operate all the vital organs. They're important. That's happening all the time. But things like blood flow to your skin, keeping your temperature down on your skin isn't a priority. So you'll sweat more when you're under stress. Digestion system gets switched off. That's not needed. Immune system, it doesn't care about your immune system. It's switched off. It needs to get you out of this situation it's in now. It doesn't care about what's happening down the track. Now, I found when I was going through my hardest period in life, the toughest challenges, I was activating this fight or flight response. And that's it. I think that's how a lot of blokes are dealing with things. Daily stresses in life, with family issues, work issues, wherever it might be. I don't think I'm alone in that respect, because I call it the man-made mind. It kicks in, and that's the way of being a bloke that's downloaded before we really had a chance to make a choice. It's just seeing our elders, the way they react and do things, and then taking that on board and pretty much toughing it out through situations, gutsing it out. That's the way we sort of have been told we should deal with things as a bloke. And that's good. That's fucking needed. That we need blokes to be hard and tough now and then. But dealing with stressful situations, everyday stress, like the shit I was going through was, sick kid at home, relationship troubles due to that, no sleep in the family, that has its own issues. Then you start trying to fight through it instead of being with these issues, because my fight or flight started kicking in, so I was trying to fight through it, and that's when more issues come into play. All the wrong hormones are activated, so you're not going to be able to sleep, even though we weren't getting much sleep with our little one. Every chance I did get to sleep, I couldn't, because the wrong hormones are activated for sleep when you're under that fight or flight response. your muscles are all activated because your hormones are filled with adrenaline. So you got pain and soreness all the time. You can't do the things you want to do that sometimes you like doing to relieve stress because you're too fucking sore. Your ability to communicate is shocking, especially like as blokes, we're not real good at that. So we've got no feeling or understanding when you're in that response of how your body feels and how you want to communicate that, because it's running off into a stress response. It doesn't have that link. So talking through things with the missus is an issue. Dealing with issues at work is an issue. It's all stems from that. Now, let's go back to the jungle and that tiger that's stalking us. Fuck you! Before you even know it, you're up the tree, and then the tiger smells a deer or something and takes off the other way. It's time to put the brakes on and bring that body back down, and a whole another group of hormones gets released, and then starts rebuilding and flushing the system out. Your mind quietens, brings it all down. We activate that fight or flight, no worries. We've got that down pat. We need to learn how to bring the brakes on more and activate that side of the system on a regular basis, and identify if that fight or flight is not required, then notice those things going on in the body and have techniques to bring it back down to where it should be. Now, quietening your mind, it's so important, and learning how to do that. And the best technique that I've found is learning about breathing techniques and breath, and how important breath is. I was talking about inputs and outputs before in the system, and the nervous system, one of the biggest inputs it looks at for a stress response is your breath. Now, if you're breathing through your mouth, shallow, fast breaths into your chest, recruiting those muscles around your neck and your chest and your shoulders to get air in and out fast, that's signaling the body that there's a stress response, and it activates all those systems I just spoke about. Now, that's no good if you're dealing with everyday shit and you find yourself more than not breathing like that. As soon as you're uncomfortable with a situation, or you're not happy, or something's frustrating you, you'll find yourself breathing like that. Now, the more you do that, the more it becomes the norm. And before long, if you're letting the body run off into that stress response over and over again, you're fucking living like that 24/7. That's how I was. And it's once your body takes control and takes the steering wheel, it fucking drives itself into the ground real quick. So you've got to get that control back and learn how to bring the brakes on through breath, and consciously do it a couple of times a day. And before, your body loves it. So before long, you'll find yourself tapping into it all the time. And then instead of seeing stressful situations and wanting to fight through it, you're dancing around the problem like Ali and fighting in that way, which is so much better than running into the fight and getting your head punched in. You've got to be smarter about this shit. That fight or flight response has no place in everyday stress. Like, think of the fucking coronavirus getting around, and think back to that tiger situation and the reactions that the body is having. The immune system switched off, digestion switched off, so you're not getting any of the nutrients into your body. Do you think that fight or flight response is warranted? Is it going to be any help? Fuck no. We need to understand what's going on in the body, and we need to have techniques to bring the body out of that response. And we can think so much clearer then. We can understand what's going on. We can think outside the box. You haven't got your tunnel vision on, so outside the box thinking becomes easy. You can solve situations and get yourself out of troubles in no time. And all of a sudden, the day's stresses are like a game. You're dancing around like Ali. So we've covered a few things there. So breathing with your diaphragm, like I said, that's when the brakes are on, and it's so important to learn how to do that. And especially breathing through your nose, in and out through your nose, down into your diaphragm. And if you haven't been doing it for a while, you'll need some help with learning how to do that again. And there's some techniques around that, and guidance is the key. But it's so important, and it's a major input. Like I said, breath is a major input into the nervous system about where it wants on the scale it wants to put its stress response. And if you can tap into that diaphragmatic breathing in and out through your nose on the reg, when you sleep as well, you're going to have restful sleep, you're going to be rebuilding. It's so important. Look at all happy and productive people. They all have this ability to dance through the stresses of daily life without an issue. And I guarantee you, if you dig into it, they have this ability. Whether they've learnt it, they've gone through troubles like myself and now have had to develop these techniques, or they're just natural at it. Either way, they do it. I mean, look at our sports stars, AFL and NRL players. Obviously they need full effort, and they need that stress response. They need that fight response. But they have the ability to snap out of that response and bring the brakes on in a second. That's how their body and their muscles rebuild, and they relax. Their mind gets clear. They can then process pressure situations and win games, because every chance they get, they bring that body out of that response and back into the rebuilding, thinking outside the box, getting through it stage. Before the game, they have all sorts of techniques to not let themselves run off into a stress response and start thinking about the game and breathing in that way that's gonna take them into fear and anxiety and self-sabotaging thoughts and all that stuff. They won't get too ahead of themselves. They won't get too pumped up too early. They'll stay calm, think clear, breathe through it. Same with surfers. They have a huge knowledge of breath and how important that is. Look at our big wave surfers, for instance. Like, they're gonna need that response, that stress response, but they turn it on and off when they need to. I mean, picture taking the drop into a monster. They're gonna need all that adrenaline, all that muscle tension, body awareness, tunnel vision on the situation. They'll need all that, but they turn that on when they need to. They could be waiting for a wave, especially in those big wave comps, for fucking ages. And imagine if they let their body run off into a stress response. They burn so much energy, fear and anxiety creep in. The muscle tension and muscle fatigue sets in. They are so comfortable being uncomfortable and just breathing through it. We've got to develop that. That's a skill that is so important, especially in this fucking new age world where there's a lot going on. And if you don't get out ahead of it, it can get tricky. Now, this can be learnt like anything else, so don't let that man-made mind and that rigid ways of not changing and adapting and learning new things hold you back. Don't think it's too simple or breath, it's just, fuck, we all breathe. Don't think it's too simple or it's too out there. Like, if you're listening to this and you probably might need some help, do something about it. Make some changes. Get comfortable making changes. And you'll do that. The more you learn these techniques, the more you will be comfortable making changes, because you're okay with it. You're not under stress. When you're not under stress, you can adapt and move on so much easier. There's so much more good things that happen when you can process your daily shit in this way. I mean, like I said before, communication is so much better with your missus. Your empathy rises so much because you're not under stress anymore. So you can take the time to understand people, and you can spot a mate easily that's not doing well, because it's heaps easier to read the label of the bottle when you're not fucking stuck inside it, you know what I mean? You can see what's going on, and you've got that empathy and that ability then to approach someone and have a chat to them, because it stands out, and you've got that time. So remember, if you do what you've always done, you'll get what you've always got. Things aren't working, make the change. Do something about it. And guidance is the key on this too. Don't just fucking rush out and have a crack. Like, knowledge, you got to learn about it and get someone to help you along. Like, reach out to have a chat if you need to, and then start researching. Reach out to me if you need to. Work through it. Anyway, I hope that helps a little bit of knowledge on the response and what's going on, and how much better your life will be if you don't let your body run off into that stress response. Anyway, I'm Tommy, Man Made Mind. See you next time.